It's the time for the package from China. Let's go. Welcome back to the channel. It's awesome that you're tuning in. So in this video we are going to take a close look at the new Super Console X. So I came across this thing on AliExpress and I was more thinking, a new version? What did they improve today? Because that is always the question with these boxes. Like this, selling the old school Android boxes or sometimes with a new casing. But I was really curious about it, so I needed to pick it up myself. When it comes to these new versions, so the first thing that they changed out is the color. Oh yeah. So basically what we're going to get is in purple. You also have like yellow, all kinds of colors, doesn't really matter. So what I do like about the Super Console is that we do get an on-off switch that is not typical like with these boxes. Alright, so let's take a close look over here. We do get a very nice manual. Here you can see like good explanation with pictures how everything needs to be reconfigured if you have some issues. For example, if you need to set up the controller menu, there is nothing really new here. We have seen a lot of these things before, and I mean like with these things like platforms. So when it comes to this, we're going to test out especially the PlayStation Portable and the PlayStation. We do also have some different, let's say, sizes when it comes to these devices. But in the end, like, how good will it run? Because these things are like highly like underpowered compared with its competitors nowadays. So when it comes to compatibility and the really old school stuff, I think some Super Console X's are pretty damn awesome. But if you want to look into the PlayStation Portable, there we're going to get some issues, or we got it with the previous model, so we're also going to test it out on this new version. Alright, so the first game that we're going to try is Dolphin Blue from the Atomic Wave platform. But you can just hear that it struggles. But I must say that it runs way better than with the previous test of the first model. Okay, so next up I want to try some Dreamcast with Soul Calibur. Yeah, so that is mostly the problem with these cheap boxes. They're running on low-end stuff and not really great compatibility with some emulators. But when it basically stops glitching, you do get like an overall pretty damn good FPS. Alright, so the next test we're going to try out N64. I'm just going to be honest, like, this is absolutely running garbage on a cheap system like this, but some games are playable, beside of course the Cruising the USA. You can just hear that it struggles. So if you want to run this, you need to have more power. And it's not going to be working great on a cheap one like this. There are some, let's say, launch titles that will run okay on it, but I'm more like, if it doesn't run, why like bother adding it, you know? Alright, so next up let's try Sega Naomi, and just wanted to see what happened when we go to play some Marvel vs. Capcom 2. But a lot of stuff will run okay, and that's something I just wanted to show you in this part. Of course, I did notice that some of these emulators we can see some glitches. I'm quite surprised how good the D-pad on this thing works. For this cheap controller that doesn't feel great, not bad at all. Okay guys, so let's take a close look at PlayStation Portable. And this will be a system that will not run on 60 FPS, and you need to have a lot of tweaking. There is no upscaling whatsoever, because this tiny box is just way too underpowered for get this to run perfectly. I think some games are still playable, and Soul Calibur is one of those. If you don't mind the starters here and there. I don't know if the camera picks it up, but you can see some glitches over here in the screen itself. What you can see over here, it's quite interesting to see that PlayStation Portable seems to be running okay. But again, it's going to be depending what game you're going to play. Okay, so next up I just want to try to PlayStation 1. Basically, like, PlayStation Portable is way more like difficult to emulate on these cheap boxes, but what you can see, even up to PlayStation 1 we can play it. The more demanding games like Bloody Roar will run fine. They will run on native resolution, so don't forget you can even upscale with some emulators, but not with this hardware. Another thing I wanted to show you is when you're looking at Mortal Kombat 1, that run was just okay on this. Well, when you're going to push it a little bit further, think about Mortal Kombat 2, 3. So this thing does struggle a lot. A little bit of a bummer, so I don't just want to like show you the negative, but I just wanted to show you what this thing is capable of. If you can get better performance the weekend, I'm not sure, to be honest. But this is what we're going to get out of the box. But okay, so already mentioned in the beginning of this video, so if you want to play some, let's say, old school stuff, 16-bit will run okay on these cheap boxes. So it's not all that negative, but you just have not enough juice to play all the, let's say, more demanding systems. And something they're also messing up with a lot of these Chinese systems are the audio. But with this system, or the Super Console X, it seems to be they are running it on great emulator. Oh, I knew that was going to be happening. Okay, so this thing I don't like about these casings are very simple. Like the way how they designed it. Yeah, I mean, like, it looks cool, but when it comes to the cooling, it's absolutely not cool. It's getting really hot, you can feel a lot of heat, and probably the heat is trapped. They need to make something adjustments, like say having some, let's say, a fan or whatever. We have shown you some different models in the past, so but they just keep doing the same problem all over again. I'm guessing this is just like, say, in case they designed or made a mold out of it. So let's see, this thing comes with 256 GB, because in the previous models we had to begin with these, let's say, greenish kind of color boards, and holy crap, it's hot, 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 hot. No, seriously, I'm not joking, this thing was really hot. Well, like I mentioned before, the first thing I'm noticing is like they did redesign the let's say the hardware itself. So to begin with, they are using the S905X chip. It's not like a big upgrade, not at all. Alright guys, so this is what we're going to get with the new model Super Console X Pro Edition. It's clear that they didn't like improve a lot of things. They improved the PCB itself at the inside, give it a new color, but unfortunately, like, the cooling solution is still the same or practical the same. The controller, I was surprised to see that the D-pad actually plays good for fighting games. So I'm gonna say that, and they don't smell that chemical like the previous models. They try to improve minor things. But let's be honest, if you're having a system like this that has so, let's say, low power specifications, you're not going to get major improvements. But I thank you for watching. Let me know in the comments what you think of this. Would be great to see you in the next video, so consider subscribing, hit the little bell, become the Wicked family, and I will see you in the next video.